Hello, I'm Legionary Deserter, Stonewalla Dude, and the Chosen One, David Graham from the Fallout Chosen One fan series. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So, before we begin, why? Why the Fallout universe? What brought you to this genre to contribute your own version of Fallout fan lore?
Yeah, really quick. It was one of those things where I had um, an adult teacher, an adult class, young's adult class at our church, and he introduced me into Fallout, and I got pretty addicted after that. Fallout 3 was the first game that I played.
So what was
Um,
so what was the first Fallout game
it
you
was
played?
Fallout 3. It was Fallout 3 was my first Fallout. New Vegas wasn't in existence at that time. So it was only Fallout 3 was the only game that was around at the time. Of course, you had the classic Fallouts, but like Fallout New Vegas wasn't a thing yet because it wasn't released.
So, what inspired you to get into directing and editing in the film industry?
Man, it was like one of those things again. You know how like you have kind of like people just inspire you to do things. So my mom gave me a camera, and it was like probably one of those old hand me cans, from the early 2000s or whatnot. And I started making funny, cool movies with my brother, World War II kind of stuff, WW2, and I just fell in love with cinema from there on. And I just like the idea that you can create a world that doesn't exist and make that whole world come alive.
Fascinating. So, I wanted to bring out the many props and items used in your first episode. We see your vault suit and gas mask, Pit Boy, a Nuka-Cola sarsaparilla. Did you make all of these? Were there any props that were given, or were there any props given to you?
So I didn't make all of them, but I did. I would say I made a lot of them. Um, I had to handcraft that. I actually on my YouTube channel I have a lot of tutorial videos of me making those stuff. But I was gifted. This is how awesome the Fallout community can be and generous. But I was donated by free by some people. There's a guy. He has a channel called at Real Rick Grimes, and in his SD channel or his shop is what's that shop again? Etsy. And he donated me bottle caps, Vim bottles, which was the soda in the main Far Harbor DLC of Fallout 4. So he donated some stuff, and he just recently donated more stuff. I don't know if I'm going to use it for the film, but it's been things like that, right? Where we've had a few people just donate stuff because they just the love of the game, or the love of the games. So
So, so that's wonderful that they're donating to your film industry and want to see your film succeed. Um, Now that we explored that part of making the film, is there anything you'd like to discuss in regard to adding to the lore, addressing the lore and your fan film?
I'm glad we're talking about this. Got to be careful because I can get really nerdy and scholar like with sometimes the lore. So, but I will say, key thing is we are doing a story about the Chosen One, which was the main playable character from the original classic Fallout 2 game, which was kind of like Legend of Zelda, kind of flat, what is that, top down kind
Yes.
of game style. So, and it was RPG. So you played that
Right.
character, and not everybody knows who the Chosen One is. When you mention the Lone Wanderer from Fallout 3, the Courier from New Vegas, Yeah, I know who that is. Or the lone survivor from Fallout 4. Yeah, I know. Or Fallout 76 with the vault throwers. When he mentioned the chosen one, somebody's like, chosen who? You know. um, so I had to go back and retell. We did. Our narrator did an awesome job. I think I'm pronouncing his. I hope I'm pronouncing his right name. It's Nikola. It's a Russian name, but he's in our credits, and he did a very good job as our narrator. And we just had to retell the whole story again. Who the chosen one is. His grandfather was the vault thrower from the first game, the very first Fallout. Just retelling the story. But the added lore stuff comes in where we're like saying, well, okay, but what happened to the chosen one 16 years later, right? In the year
Right.
2257. What happens to his story? We don't have a lot of information in the lore about what happened to the chosen one. There's a lot of theories out there. Other than that, he was the elder of his village, was Awara. You can watch the film and it will get into all that for many years to come. Well, what's many years, right? So we were trying to explore what could happen with the chosen one. He has a daughter. He settles down with a family. He has a wife. His daughter gets kidnapped by this raider gang from Oklahoma, and he's got to track them down. So he goes to Oklahoma. It was just a cool way of like continuing the story. That's where the added lore comes in. And then for some people that may, I don't think it's going to bother a lot of people, but for some people that are hardcore lore fans, it might like kind of rub them wrong perhaps. But a key thing to keep in mind is, and I've told you, is there's a difference between the actual canon of the Fallout universe and then our fan stuff, right? Our fan stuff could be viewed as an alternate reality. You know what I mean? It's not a part of the canon, so we don't have to worry as well if we're contradicting stuff. But I've done my research, and I was making sure I was trying to get things accurate as possible, and then along with creative license. So
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, I would be on camera with you, but unfortunately, I do not have a camera of my own for my computer,
yeah,
and I just can't afford one right now. So that's why you're not seeing my face on there as well, discussing this with you. Um, I just want to say I was quite impressed with the narrator. He did an excellent job.
yeah,
He did a really good job. Just the sound of his voice was very carried that scene.
that Fallout, it carried that Fallout narrator
It was
voice
really
in it,
good.
like the
Um,
deep, the what is it, that deep post-apocalyptic, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Kind of voice. Um, you need your hat. Well, you don't need a hat. You'll be fine. So that narrator is Nikola Arvamova. I can't. Again, I think it's a Russian name, but we'll just call him Nikola. And he did an excellent job. I really hope that uh, he is proud of his work when he gets a chance to see it. And now, maybe some people didn't notice, but I transitioned into my voice near the end of that, like right near the end where I said, now the chosen one's journey may change, but war never changes, and I transitioned into my voice. Part of that was there was a technical issue that happened that we lost those lines, but I thought it was a cool transition because it makes it personal. It kind of moves it more into the voice of the chosen one now telling the story, you know. Speaking
yeah,
of, hey Austin, do you want to talk about your character?
yeah. So my character later on in your show,
So we do have to be a
I'm
little vague, though. We have to be a little careful. We don't want to spoil much,
little
but
little
go.
vague, little
Yeah, yeah.
vague.
But go ahead.
So So I'm trying to think of what I can reveal and what I can't reveal. So I came from the Legion,
Yeah,
and if you guys don't know what the Legion is, you should just watch the Fallout series on Paramount. And the Legion is it was in what was that Fallout New Vegas where
the game.
they
Yeah,
were it's based off of the Roman legionary system, and
yeah,
it's a slave society.
yeah,
And I basically run away from the that legionary society,
yeah.
and I'm trying to find a place to where I could live and I can survive out in the wilderness, and that's where you come in.
So you're the we're already like we kind of released some information online about your character. So you're what we can say is like your name is the Legionary Deserter, right? So that's kind of
Right.
implies in the name that you desert Kaisar. Did you know that? I think this is accurate, but according to lore, if you know how bad it is, what happens when you desert Kaisar?
You get crucified.
Yeah, and it's basically like a death sentence because now they this happened to Joshua Graham. There's a DLC in uh, New Vegas called Honest Hearts, and Joshua Graham is this. He's an ex legionary guy or whatever, and basically they sent out assassins. You know what I mean? Just because he deserted,
Right.
in a sense. Well, they try to kill him, but you know what I mean. It's that mindset, and then it's kind of hard to escape because you're kind of brainwashed. And I don't think people. We saw that in the TV show with the slave. People argued on why in the world did she come back to the legionary, but it's because you're so brainwashed that
Well,
you can't really. It's kind of hard to just escape the thing, you know.
well, coming from the legionary deserter perspective,
Yeah.
when you've been abused, you tend to want to go back to the abuser because you
Right.
have some odd fixation on those people that abused you. And if it's like it's battered women that have been abused and battered
Yeah, it's
go through
unfortunate.
the same thing. It's an
Yeah.
unfortunate thing.
Yeah. Well, and well, speaking of your character, it seems you're just like I'm gonna get as far as I can from Kaisar. So you're in Oklahoma as a result of that. We can't get
Right.
much into your character on the motivation or why but you'll guys find out, and it's gonna be a treat. So what's other
Yeah.
questions you have
Can't
for
wait
me?
till you get to see that.
Yeah, for sure. What's other
Um.
questions you got?
So let's go starting from the beginning of the film. I love that it begins with a nod to a death claw,
Yeah.
as it seems stalking you near your abode, your home. In real life, would you face down a death claw with only a spear?
It
Like
looks like
Maximus with the
yeah,
with the
yeah,
the cool
yeah.
toolkit.
Max with the pull. uh, Probably not. If the way I played the games, unless even if I was in a power armor, I better hope I have some type of what is it, Fat Boy or something, where I can shoot a mini nuke at it. You know what I mean, from a distance.
All
But
right.
even then, I hope that thing doesn't survive that. So I would probably, in real life, sorry, be wetting my pants and scaring and hiding somewhere. So that's the reality of that.
All right. So, now it goes to the narrator. We already discussed all about the narrator and everything,
He did a good
but it
job.
shows another actor. Yeah, he did a good job. Now, another actor playing as a vault dweller from 13. There is another actor who's playing a vault dweller from 13.
Yeah.
Who is he, and what has your relationship been with making of this film?
So that is an example of what we, when we're working with other YouTubers. So he is supposed to be in the story itself the Vault Thrower, which is the
Okay.
granddad of the Chosen One. So you are the Fallout 2 games. You are the descendant. You're like a great descendant of the Chosen One, right?
Right.
And so it'd be kind of like here's a great analogy. Luke Skywalker is the descendant of Anakin, right?
Right.
So, but Anakin's technically the father, so that's where the analogy breaks down because it'd be more like Anakin didn't have a father, but you know what I mean. It'd be like your great granddad or your
Okay.
granddad. But that YouTuber, he has a short film, and I got permission to use his video. But you can check out his YouTube channel. We'll put it in the link description. But it's at, say if I could say this right at Your Lag Entertainments, and he is German, and he made this. Check it out; it's really cool. It's a short film called Fallout Dogmeat, live action fan film, and it basically is supposed to be if somebody was able to do a live action, kind of like what I'm doing, of the Fallout 1 video game about the Vault Thrower. And it's so good. The dog that he used is so accurate to that classic first Fallout game, like the same breed and stuff. They did an excellent job. So I got permission from him to use those clips, and it worked perfectly well with the narration and story.
Okay. Now, the Vault Dweller character is seen mingling with a new tribe called the Aurora. Now,
By the
I'm
way,
saying that
this is
right,
my
correctly,
daughter
right?
over here. Yeah, she's hanging out a little bit.
So, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
We have the Chosen One's daughter there, and she'll make a guest appearance eventually in the film. So
We'll
she
see.
is one of the stars.
We'll see, Austin. We don't know the outcome. I mean, could be a flashback, could be the future, could be the present. We'll see what the fate of her daughter is, or his daughter. Sorry. So we'll see. Anyway, what were we gonna say? I forgot you asked
Son.
me something.
Oh yeah, there's a new tribe called the Arroya. I'm saying it right, correctly, right?
Aurora. Yeah, it's kind of hard to pronounce.
Aurora.
Aurora. Yeah. Aurora.
Now, I'm not a dedicated Fallout fan. Can you please explain who they are and their relation to the Chosen One?
Yeah. So in the first game, you played the very first Fallout game. Again, kind of like Legend of Zelda style kind of game. You were tasked to save your Vault 13. That's what we talked about in the narration. And as a result of being the hero, the overseer says, well, I don't like how you're encouraging other people to leave the vault, because as you know in the games, vault tech is pretty sketchy. They have experiments with each vault.
Right.
So Vault 13's experiment was a control vault, that they didn't want anybody to really leave ever the vault ever. So that means that the Chosen One, I mean, following the Vault Dweller example would be bad. So he was kicked out, and then the other Vault 13 dwellers viewed the Vault Dweller as a hero, and they didn't like the Overseer's choice. So they ended up following his example and went out in the wastelands and followed him. And that is where the tribe comes from. The tribe is descendants of the original Vault 13 dwellers, right? And so
Okay.
he creates, the Vault Thrower creates Aurora. They become a little unrealistic, but just, it's cool. that they end up becoming a tribal society really quick. And they live out in the desert and they create all these legends, and it's kind of pagan, to be honest. But and they create all these legends and stories, and that's where the chosen one comes in. In the Fallout 2 game, you're tasked. It's almost just like the first game, where you're tasked now to save your village from dying from a drought. You know what I mean? That's what we say in the
Right.
narration. So that's where a war. It's interesting. It'd be kind of like if, um, I don't know, if at one point in America we just all become tribal people, right? But
Yeah.
our descendants originally are the original Americans that lived in this modern world or something. I don't know.
So I was gonna say, so you hear right before you hear the narration,
Yeah,
it shows you walking by the shore,
yeah,
and there's a woman that's speaking. And she's saying to save your people, and
yeah.
something else about saving your people or something. Is that the tribal elder of
Yeah,
the
that's the
village?
tribe or elder. That would technically be your grandmother, or no, no, sorry, your mother, who is the daughter of the vault dweller, right? Because he settled down
Yeah.
and had a wife. So he had a wife. So that's your mother, who was the tribal elder. That was played by Sonya, and Sonya did an
Okay.
excellent job at voicing that. She sounds
Yes.
so close. You can look it up on YouTube. Compare her voice with the actual original actor who played that elder, and she basically resaid the lines from the game. That's your that's your quest from the first game. So it was kind of like an echo from the past. Like, he's remembering. It's not a ghost or anything. It kind of sounds like it, but it's like an echo from the past that he's remembering who he is, right? That was kind of the intent of
Right.
that scene.
Now, there's a scene where you bring the Bible into the limelight of your character, being a source of inspiration to him. Explain your feelings of involving Christianity in the Fallout universe.
I'm glad that we're talking about this. And before I get into the big thing on this, so one, you probably know this. We know this. Christianity's been in the
Yes.
Fallout universe anyway. Um,
Right.
but the personal reason why I chosen to do that is, well, if you see the channel itself, the channel is really devoted to faith based kind of cinema, right? It all leads back to God, to Jesus. Uh, so that is, we wanted to do this. I wanted to do the same thing. But for personal reasons, I mean, God is everything, right? Jesus is everything.
Right.
And so he should be a part of everything I do. And I just want people to know how much Jesus means to me and how much he can mean to them. So, um, but that was, it can be a thing that's in the Fallout universe, and it has been in the Fallout universe. We go back to the earliest I can think about. I don't know about the first and second games if it had it in there. Probably did, but the third game you start out as a baby in the beginning of the Fallout 3, and your dad is Liam Nelson. I got a particular set of skills, and I will find you and kill you, Liam.
I don't think
Taken.
that was very Christian like.
No, that wasn't Christian like, but I'm saying the actor that plays the
Yeah, I know it's the
father.
actor.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
from
just I'm just
Taken.
joking.
But yeah, I know. But he basically quotes from you in the game, and he says, "This is your mother's favorite Bible verse, and it's from Revelation. I given the water of life, or whatever, eternal waters of life." I can't remember the exact quote on top of my head, but it's a Bible verse. And your dad in the game really has like a Christian value. Like, if you choose to be very evil in the game, he says he's disappointed in you. So the game seems to have that. I don't remember exact quote, but I think Three Dog even kind of like, after you do so many good things, I think he asks himself, is there good in the wastelands, or is there a God? You know what I mean, or something. I'm gonna have to find that exact quote again, but it's been there, right? Christianity's been in. Maybe we mentioned Joshua Graham, even though that's Mormon. That's a little bit different, right? That is different, very different. Um, but Christianity's been there. It's been a part of the universe, and I think it makes sense for the chosen one to be a part of to do that. That's happened to be before. People have come from tribal backgrounds or from any background and have found faith, right? So
Correct.
I just really wanted this to not just be a story about him finding the daughter, where it was really also a story about him finding faith in God and him leaning on that God is going to be his guide, that the love of God, that love is the guide that will guide him along this journey if he lets it. You know what I mean?
Yes, the love of God is a tremendous impact on anyone, and I'm glad that you chose that for your character. Uh, Now I want to explore the character conflict of having to choose to either after finding your wife first or going to Oklahoma to find your daughter.
What do
What
you?
was your character?
You
What
go
was your
ahead.
character feeling at that point?
What do
Go
you?
ahead.
What do you think, daughter? You're right here. What do you think? Should have chose you, or should? No, I'm just kidding. So no. I I think it's from the scene you can see it was very difficult for him to make that choice. That's the way we edited that scene, at least. That it was very difficult to choose between his wife and his daughter. I mean, who would want to do that? Um, for you to choose between a family member and another family member, Austin. You know what I mean? But it was
Yeah.
one of those dilemmas that kind of on his mindset there really wasn't much of a choice. The
Do you feel that your wife would have wanted you to go after your daughter first? Uh, That's kind of what played in your character's mind.
Yeah, I think a part of the story, yeah, I would see that if you could fill in the gaps. But from what he's thinking is on time. Time is important. So with the Enclave, the narrator says that they stole her as ransom. They want to get their
Ugh,
revenge because in the second game, you blow up the oil. You basically become the boogeyman of the Enclave. You destroy their oil
yeah.
rig. This small group of Enclave that's left, they want their revenge. So they you can see this in the games that the Enclave will sometimes hold individuals captured until they get what they want, right? So he thinking that his wife has more time. His daughter is captured by raiders, and if you know from the games, raiders horrible things they will do to people, right? So he
Yeah.
doesn't see that she has like any time on her hands. So he didn't think he had time to save his wife first. Um, as the series goes on, we'll continue to deal with that question though about the wife and what he's gonna do. But you'll have to find out. I don't want to spoil that, but we'll continue with that question. But for now, it's all about trying to find his daughter first most. Um, but yeah, I could see that with like a mother, how a mother's like, no, 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 not me, her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could definitely see where that it comes from. Anything else?
Yeah, it was quite the impossible dilemma that you were put through.
We're gonna
Now,
get
why
in.
Oklahoma?
Oh yes, why Oklahoma? Because we like to tell boring stories. Just kidding. No, Oklahoma is. I like the way James is an actor that plays Willie Rogers, and I like the way he put it that you tell stories within your own state. And there's a lot of people that are right now, like in the Fallout fan base, that like to tell stories about their own state. So they'll put the story within their own state. There's a guy I just watched, really long video, and it's all supposed to take place in Texas, with some parts in Colorado, but it's supposed to take place in Texas, and it's just probably because that's where he was, you know. So that's one reason, and I think Oklahoma is an area that, while it can be, I mean, kind of boring, it's an area that can sometimes be interesting, like a little jewel in the wastelands. You know what I mean? Especially like some of those. I don't know, the Pops restaurant in Oklahoma City. I've told you about that. Just that kind of that 50s vibe that you could find in this little tiny wastelands. It's just interesting, you know what I mean?
So
The southern and west Midwest culture is really interesting to put into the Fallout universe,
so
especially with.
wasn't there a little a nook and cranny of information that you had about the one of the Fallout vaults that you wanted to say? Uh,
Yeah. So I'm glad we're talking about. There is a rejection letter. I really wish I could find it, but that's fine. I don't have it up with. But there's a rejection letter that you get from Vault Tech when you play Fallout 3. And in the rejection letter, it basically says that you've been rejected a spot in the vault. But there's exciting locales, is where they like locations, like Oklahoma. And let me see if I can rejection letter. Well, it's okay. Um,
Alaska, wasn't it?
Alaska, maybe, or Alaska, or was it Canada? Because Canada was taken over. But there was.
Oh, it was Canada. I remember now. It
It's
was
probably
Canada.
Canada,
Yeah.
I guess. Again, I'm sorry, guys. I don't have that up with me right now. But though that's what the rejection letter is. So I bounced on that, and I said, well, I'm going to create posters for Oklahoma area. And there's these posters with this guy laying in, like, kind of like a farmer, and he's got, typical Oklahoma type of thing. He's a farmer laying in the field, and he's got, hay in his mouth, chewing on it. And it says, missed a spot? Well, try our exciting vaults in Oklahoma. So it bounced on that lore, or it based off that lore that you see in the rejection letter, and us kind of making fun a little bit of Oklahoma. But I think Oklahoma provided an interesting, like if you watch the first episode, Willie Rogers, the radio DJ that did an awesome job, that unique props. He has like a soda bottle. I can tell you about that. It's called Nuka Rogers. You know what I mean? Things it,
Right.
it, it provided a like kind of a new area, and I think it puts the chosen one out of his comfort zone, because he's used to California, and now he's going to this whole brand new. It's like starting a whole new campaign in a whole new region. You know what I mean? Why not? It's just
Right.
interesting.
So how did you run into Will Rogers to uh, put him into the fan film?
Oh, James.
Yeah.
James was, I think it was a Facebook. I've never met him in person, but it was probably one of the Fallout Facebook pages, and I was advertising our fan film. And I'm telling you, man, just because it's Fallout, people want to be in it. So he said he wanted to be in it, and we talked. We were talking as a group. I created a Facebook page for all this. We were talking, and we thought it was a cool idea. What do we call this character called Willie Rogers? Is this kind of a cowboy radio DJ from before the bombs fell? Now he's become a ghoul, like a pre-war ghoul, and he's still doing radio work for the wastelands of Oklahoma. You know what I mean? And I,
That's pretty crazy.
yeah, that thought that was
uh,
a cool idea because what you
it's
typically
cool, and in a cool way. I mean,
well, and
yeah,
you wouldn't typically have ghouls as DJs because of that biasm that's toward ghouls. But I
yeah.
guess you could say that the Brotherhood still we are saying there's no presence really there, so I guess they're not influencing that biasm towards ghouls. Or I don't know. It's just cool. It's a unique way of going about the Oklahoma area, you know. So really gives out, and
How
we
much
make
time do we
fun of
have left?
we
Do you
make
want to
fun
wrap
of,
things up, or
huh?
do you want to wrap things up, or do you want to just keep going?
No, is there one more question you want to ask? We're about
One
35
more? Okay.
minutes in. We're 35 minutes
Okay.
in.
All right. One more question. Any last words you'd like to say for the podcast?
Patrolling Oklahoma makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. I said it wrong. Almost.
Oh, almost. Well,
Almost.
thank you. Well, thank you, David Graham, for having this discussion with me, and I can't wait for the next series, the next episode coming out. And what is the next episode?
Oh yeah, thank you for telling that. I posted it on Little Tool Short on YouTube channel and my YouTube channel, Marching Memory Cinema, and I've just posted what it's going to be about. But it's just, I'll tell you, it's a random encounter episode, like in the games or Wild
Yeah.
Wasteland perks, and my cat is in it. And it's
Okay.
simply the name of the title is Cat Meat. We continue the story of him looking for his daughter and him struggling with that, of course, in that journey. And but the cat is just kind of this interesting piece. It makes them pause for a little bit. You'll find out.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been quite the episode. I'm glad that we had this discussion, and we learned a lot of episode one, and we had a fun time doing it. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I hope you have a great day. God bless. Signing out.
Signing out. God bless.